Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Streaming now on Peacock. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are back
That's hot. Loves it.
for a show-stopping reunion that will prove putting on an opera is anything but simple.
We're really good at this.
One thing's for sure, they won't be upstaged.
Good to have you back. Come on, we've got a show to do.
Paris and Nicole, The Encore, a 3-part reunion special. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Welcome to Don't Blame Me,
Hi.
a show featuring Megan Rinks and Melissa Diamond Mods, where we give advice to our listeners, where you can call in to 310-696-06.
310, don't listen to her. 310-694-0976. And this is my moment to shine because we have said it before. It is the only number at this current point in my friendship life that I will be able to call if I am in trouble.
I did input it into something earlier this week and I had no trouble seeing it as I was typing it. I was like, this is perfect, but I just can't say it out loud.
There was a time period where when we were doing like the promo stuff, I was writing it more than I was like saying it, where I could write it easier than I could say it. And I used to have to write it. And I even now sometimes will do it with my finger to remember. So you are halfway there then to memorizing it because I was able to type it first.
In writing form. So I think if I needed to make a phone call, I could do it.
And I go, wonderful, 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 wonderful. So welcome. We're here to give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. Yeah, speaking of wonderful, it's the most wonderful time of the year and of your week where we give you advice. So, like Melissa said, Colin, you can also write in to But Am I Wrong? No, you can't. You can, but that's our other show. You can write in to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also slide into our DMs on Instagram, Meghan and Melisa. So there you can spell out what you're dealing with. Tell us the thing that you have found yourself in that you need our help to dig you out of that trench that you're in. Or
Megan with an H and Melissa with one S.
we do feel competitive when one person gets a correct spelling and the other one doesn't. But it has pretty much evened out. Like I get one, you get one, you get one, I get one. So we do ask that you were 18 or actually no, we require you were 18 or over, have your parents' permission to write in or call in. Melissa recently just did a post on your story about your like ranking of like the craziest calls. And one of our girls, Mary, responded saying, honorable mention to playing the call of saying like, hey, I'm calling about like, I need some tips on sex. So I'm 17 and you both immediately going, nope. And then hanging up. And you just went on to a new call. And she was like, that's still one of my favorites. I forget about that one all the time.
I do too, because yeah, we want to forget.
Well, and also because like your number one, which was obviously the time we didn't do anything except just call the police. And like, we didn't air it. We didn't record anything. We didn't talk about it. We just said, we should actually just call the police. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And
Megan Todd just sent me a message and was like, hold on, what was this? I need a summary. And I said, I'm not putting that in writing.
No. Also, no one can know because we're the only people who know. And then I think at the time, was Amanda working?
I know it was Adriana. Because she went to some website. That was the website that we were able to look up the reverse.
I have the memory of someone.
It was
I have memory of you and I looking at each other, and then of someone typing to be like, "Hey, I found it." So I was like, "There's a third person in it." I know that. So we are the only 3 people, and the person who called and left that, and the police who know what happened with that.
Coco knows now.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing: you have to trust your editor with all like. You trust them to edit and cut out things that are, sensitive. And so
that was before her time, but we always mentioned that there was one. And so I did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we say something on podcast being like, okay, cut this out or whatever, or if we like don't mention it, if Coco was ever like, hey, could you tell me? I go, of course I can tell you. You have been harboring some of Melissa and I's deepest and darkest secrets for years. But yeah, so like I forget that 17-year-old one, we even aired, like, it was just like, nope, move on. And I'm sure, like, listening back to that, if I listened, like, it would be very funny because for us, we then go and pick another call. So, like, there is a time span, but for them, it was just like, oh, brand new call just starts playing. So, love that so much. If anyone remembers what episode that's from, let me know. But yes, so you have to be your 18 or over have parents' information is the moral of the story. And we also ask that you let us know how old you are, not just that you're over 18. Because our advice if you are 22 is very different than our advice if you are like 35. If it's about a relationship, whether that's a friendship or romantic or, you don't have to do it for siblings necessarily. Tell us how long you have been engaged in said relationship. And the most important details that you would say if you were trying to, I don't know, going in front of a judge and a jury. You're trying to get people on your side or you're trying to like get them to understand your POV. And if you want us to be incredibly biased and you're like, I actually just need you to like be on my side and deliver, if I am, need some advice, deliver it with a little bow on top and really nice. Or you can also be like, I'm not sensitive. You can really go full throttle. Tell me all about it. The people who say I am sensitive are never so be nice, are never the ones who need a good talking to, because I realized that the person from the call of the episode that shall not be named, they had said, they're like, you can really, I need you to yell at me.
Yeah. So before we get into the episode, if you didn't listen to last week's Don't Blame Me, you gotta go back and listen to it because it is one of our wildest episodes. I ranked how I put like the most jaw-dropping episodes that we have encountered. And I put this as number, did I put it as number?
Let me pull it up. I screenshotted it. So this is Melissa's. My ranking of the most shocking calls on Don't Blame Me. Number 1, the one we never aired and told the police. Number 2, the last call this week. Number 3, the son that wanted to get back with their quote unquote good Christian ex who murdered someone. 4, bride that purposely peed on the bridesmaid. 5, the girl that went to the family reunion knowing she slept with her boyfriend's brothers, who are twins. I just have to say, I love you bitches. Like, and like even the call last week, like, I love that you listen to the podcast because I love knowing that you heard what we said and you're going to go, hey, I'm going to change this.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, we're not swearing you off as a person. We're not telling you you're bad. We're not never going to support whatever. I'm here to root for you in never doing this ever again and making better life choices. And I am looking forward to you respecting that was our opinion and actually actively seeking that opinion from us. And then knowing that you're going to stick around and we actually get to see that change.
Yes. So, this is Coco's Corner. If you don't know what Coco's Corner is, it's something we just made up.
Sometimes we need there's times where we go, any specific things about an industry that she also works in, or we've done a couple romance.
Yeah.
Lesbian.
Coco is our editor. She listens to every single episode. She hears everything that we say cut out. So she has the deep dirt. She is a lesbian.
And we have as Mecca and Jamila pointed out, they said, dang, a lot of your audience. And I said, totally. Coco's the one we can reach the quickest.
Yes. And so on Tuesday at 11:17, but that would have been 9:17. I'm in Arkansas right now. So that would have been 9:17 in LA. She says.
Which night?
Tuesday. So she's editing.
Okay.
So she said, too much dick in this episode. That was one message. So the next message said, I'm gagging. Next message, I'm charging extra for having to go through this. Next message, workplace harassment. Yes, I said, you were warned, but am I wrong? And then she said, ha, 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 ha. And then next message, my stomach is turning. And then the next message was, you love to make it more nasty. And then crying, laughing emojis, several of them. And I said, I blacked out. I don't even remember what you're talking about. And then she said, LMAO. And then said, you're going off right now. It's fucking comedy. The J. Crew dick pic has me wrecked.
I forgot about that.
And then I said, I'll report back after I watch. And then I watched the next day and I said, I'm cracking myself up.
I need to watch it.
And then she later said, also, you couldn't get over the word craving. And then I said, that bitch was salivating.
Ew!
She was.
No,
and
she
is.
was.
And I need an update. And then Coco said, LMAO. And then she goes, I'm just trying to figure out how that just comes about. I never shared no sex fantasy with a coworker. Shit sounds sketchy from top to bottom. And then I said, I need answers expeditiously. And then Coco said, and Meghan saying, get up and get out. And then I said, you can't be that down bad. So there we have it.
I was telling Mom this, and I was like, I mean this with love, babe. I do need you to know that, like, this is not something that you should ever think of like, oh, wow, that's so nice. I go, no, this is the patriarchy at work. This is, no woman ever wakes up going, we need to be 150 years in the we need to be so far in the future. I need it to be like Barbie land. I need it to be, there's never been a male president. There's not enough time for us to exist on the planet in our lifetimes. Things cannot, there's not enough time for that to be a complete 180 pivot like that. Mm-hmm. But I also now realize we probably should have specifically forewarned people with an aversion to penises for this one. Because like this one was incredibly, Coco's not wrong. It was incredibly penis heavy.
That person that wrote in saying that penises were disgusting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. They were scared of
penis. Immediately thought of that as soon as Coco said too many dicks. I was like, oh no. That person, but they're very fair. They're like, I literally can't, like, I'm disgusted. I cannot stand. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Trigger warning, penises. We are so excited to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Thrive Cosmetics. Now, we are slowly but surely inching our way into fall in Los Angeles. And I mean inching.
So slowly.
So slowly.
Maybe millimetering. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so, because when I look outside, I go, oh my God, look at all these brown, crispy leaves that have fallen to the ground and they're crunchy and I can prance around in them, except for not too long because it's still 85 degrees out.
Right.
You know, it's that. So I have to find other ways to get excited for fall, like my makeup. And for me, I have been keeping it very simple, especially on my off days when I'm not filming. And even if I am filming, I'm like dialing it back, doing something very simple like mascara and a lip tint, which is exactly what I'm wearing today. And you guys can't see me, but you should know I'm wearing the ad that we're talking about. So thank you, Thrive.
She looks good. And when we got on camera, I was like, what have you been doing today? Because I know we rarely leave our homes.
Yeah, and I didn't leave my home. I just happened to have a little fun at my makeup desk.
And Thrive inspired that. I, as y'all know, fall. Y'all know that I am a person that's like, we don't talk about fall until it's fall. And now is it officially fall? Then we can talk about it. And I can talk about how much I am looking forward to switching up my summer routine for makeup and moving into more autumn-inspired creations. And Thrive makes that possible.
Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high-performance and trademarked formulas, and uncompromising standards. And it's easy to see why their best sellers have thousands of 5-star reviews.
We were sent some beautiful shades, including their precision lipstick crayon that we received. The color is called Stephanie. It looks amazing on me. It is like a brownish red color. I'm not a technical person. Thrive are the They're the professionals. They provide it. I see it. I like it. I wear it. It's fantastic. They also have their liquid lash extension mascara. Not only does it last all day, it doesn't clump. There's no smudging. There's no flaking. You look like you're wearing lash extensions without having to go to the salon and getting them put on.
And it completely comes off so easily with water, which is something that, as someone who has been a till death do us part waterproof mascara kind of girl, usually I have to soak my eyelashes and my eyelids for about 5 minutes every night. And then when I wake up in the morning, I still look like a raccoon. And I'm like, and I got to do it again in the morning. So knowing that I can have that great long lash, voluminous and lengthened look, and then washing it off just as easy with water, it sounds like a dream. And it's got nourishing ingredients that help support longer, stronger, and healthier looking lashes over time. TBT to that time I was curling my lashes on your couch and they got stuck, and then I broke off half my lashes, and I was like, oh, we can't actually talk about this. And you're like, it's fine, we'll pretend it never happened.
And I forgot it happened until right now.
I thought it happened again the other day, and that was pre-Thrive. So thank Thrive Cosmetics. Now I'm gonna be set. These lashes are not going anywhere.
Great. I love that. Not only does Thrive provide excellent products, Thrive also donates to 8 major causes, including those impacted by cancer, domestic abuse, and veteran and education organizations.
So brighten up your fall look with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. And right now you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/blame. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/blame for 20% off your first order.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. So that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
We're going to get into the rest of the episode now.
Okay. Hey, Meghan and Melisa. I'm having anxiety about going home to see my family this Christmas. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have gone, but my parents deposited money directly into my account to cover gas, so I feel obligated. One of the many ways they're making sure I make it home. I hate going home because I hate being compared to my siblings. There are 6 of us in total, and I fall in the middle. Me and my siblings are very close, and I've never felt pressure coming from them. My parents, on the other hand, they grill me every time I'm there. A couple of my siblings are married or engaged. The younger 2 are in college. Then there's me. I got a degree in chemistry that I do not use. I'm more of an artist, but I know they would never support it. I'm pretty smart, so I got a degree that I thought would impress them. It did until I graduated and pursued art. I'm doing decent at it, enough to pay the bills, but nothing extra. I know my parents will ask what I'm doing with my life. Do I have a significant other? Am I gay? I kid you not. So please, any help navigating my family would be great. Oh, and by the way, I'm 26, she, her pronouns, thanks. Maybe one of your siblings is getting divorced, and that can be the main focus.
There's 6 of y'all. One of you's got to be gay.
Well, statistically,
At least 2.
At least 2. So I'm thinking that in this circumstance and situation, distraction is on your side. And if you are, like you said, you're very close with your siblings, then it needs to be like you're making a football play. Like, okay, guys, you're choreographing an 8 count. This is the plan. And like make it fun in the sense of like, so even the distraction and deterring and the shifting conversation is actually not so miserable for you, because like that does require a lot of mental effort. So like, you know, let's say this sibling is on track for changing the subject if my parents bring up, am I gay? This sibling is on they're going to bring up, you know, something like a news article they saw every time if they ask about who I'm dating. And then this sibling, and like they can have fun with it of being like, you know, they either have to come up with a topic to like shift the conversation or discussion, or like this sibling is going to like really loudly fake sneeze every time they ask about my degree and using that, or my career, or whatever that is. Something along the lines where like your siblings are in that together with you. Because I think that no matter how close you say you are with your siblings and how much they love and care about you, I think anybody who like lets people sit there and like be miserable and like having their family continue to pester or say things, whatever, that they know upsets you, if they don't do anything in the moment and it's only until afterwards they're like, hey, I'm sorry, that like really sucked, I don't think they're in your camp as much as possible that they could be. And, you know, some people think that like, oh, I don't want to interfere. I don't like, they think that they're doing the right thing in that way. For that, I would say, enlist the troops. There's 5 other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I need you guys to put your money where your mouth is. If you love me and you care about me, we're going to pivot and change the subject.
My question is, do you need them for money? I mean, they sent you money. Seems like they have it. If they're able to give it, they have it. If you need them for money, you know, play nice as much as you can. If you don't need them for money, be an asshole. Like, I don't understand why more people just won't be assholes. Just tell the truth. Just be honest. Say, you know, I have a chemistry degree. If things, you know, get to a point where I need money, then I can figure it out. But there are other things that I want to pursue in life right now. No, I'm not with anyone right now. Why are you so like obsessed with that? Yes or no, I'm gay. Why does it matter? Like, just tell the truth unless you have to play nice for the financial reasons. Be yourself. Like, I promise you that once you get into your true self and you're around that truthfulness, then they will back off on asking you questions.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in like unlearning the respect your elders, aka don't talk back thing of childhood. That like, that is only until you get that voice. And that voice is because you don't need them anymore. Whether that's like a roof over your head, financial like support, whatever that is, or like you're ready emotionally at that point, like talk back. Like you can do all of that. I do fear that if you say you are making a living and paying your bills through art, that there's some money involved. I'm hoping it was a trust or, you know, something like that like they don't have like they still don't have ties to. But like, I also think that if your parents have financially supported you in the past and it helped you get to where you are, but you are not still currently being financially supported by them, I don't think it's your obligation to just deal with their shit because they gave you a gift at some point. As long as the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and like, you know, that money has exchanged hands or what a deed of a home, whatever those things are. If you don't have in a contract that you are then required to take their shit, I don't think that you need to, because I do think that providing for your children is, unfortunately, I don't think it should be a luxury. I don't think it should be like, I think that should be what we're all able to do. So the idea of like that makes you indebted to them for all eternity is like, I call bullshit on that.
I agree.
So
I agree. You didn't ask to be here.
No. And also, if they are going to give you money, like a lump sum of money, they can do that. They also don't have to do that. Like, if they choose to do that, they cannot add on stipulations based on guilt, not like legal obligation.
Yep.
Also, are you close to any of your siblings' partners? that is another thing that like I like love to do. I love to be tapped in. Put me in, coach. Like if you need help or we need to divert something, or people not currently anymore, but like that had feelings about certain aspects of other people, and like it was kind of more of like a not unspoken, but like it was not brought out into the limelight until I asked the person, being like, this is what's going on. Cool. Now, and I'm gonna, make sure that I'm aware of this in this moment, and like, continuing to do that kind of stuff. So like, there's just a level of we're in this together, because who's got the target on their back is going to change at any given point. And I think if you let the one sibling or one family member just like take the brunt of it, thinking that prevents you or excuses you from that turning on you at some point, it's just not going to happen. Like someone's going to get divorced. Someone is going to become an alcoholic. Someone is going to lose their house. Someone's going to lose their job. And like, then if you have just been like letting your other sibling take the scrutiny, no one's going to stand up for you. So I say give them the opportunity to do that, because they might not be doing it because they might think that's not what you want them to do. So, but if they still don't do it, then I would say, I'm actually going to use that gas money and I'm going to drive back. Goodbye. Also, normalize leaving in the middle of the night and then having people just wake up and then it be gone, and then just, leaving a note on like your like middle school stationery.
What do you call like a Dear John letter for just your...
It's fitting.
All right. Well, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll get into some more.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast, Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's only one story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
We are back, and let's get into the next. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I got some good advice last time. Oh, wonderful. So I thought I'd give it another try. I'm 23 and my boyfriend is 21. I don't love that already, but that's fine. We've been together for 4 years, and we also live together.
Been together 4 years makes a big difference. Okay, keep going.
I'm just doing the math.
Yep, it's what you think it is.
Oh, I'm just checking. Yeah, okay. You know me. Numbers aren't my strong suit. We have a good relationship and love each other very much. The problem now is my libido. I have low to no libido, and this has been going on for 6 to 9 months. We've tried having a lot of conversations about this, and it's not really moving forward. My boyfriend completely adapts to what I like, and we have open communication. I have an IUD, and this cannot be the cause, as I've had many conversations with my doctor about this. I've also tried a number of things myself, namely having me time, getting dressed up, and putting on sexy lingerie, and exploring myself further, if you know what I mean. These are all things that used to help me feel sexy. At the moment, it is becoming very frustrating that this no longer works and nothing is fueled. Do you mean fulfilled?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if you want me to read the second part out loud because it's, mental health wise, but thank you for sharing that. So, well, you say specifically you have social anxiety. So I'm curious if you've asked your doctor, like point blank, like, hey, I'm having low libido. Here's the thing. If you want to get shit done at the doctor, if you are a person with a uterus, you have two magic words. One, I have a low libido and I don't want to disappoint my boyfriend or my husband. Even if you have a girlfriend, not a boyfriend, not a husband, even if you are single. B, I'm trying to get pregnant. Or I'm thinking about starting a family. The way that you will shoot up to the top of the priority of symptoms they would otherwise tell you are just like, it's all in your head. Like you're just stressed for no reason. Like what, blah, 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 blah. Those things, unfortunately, our medicine is also still very male centric. So I would ask about that specifically, not just, hey, would IUD side effect, have you ever heard of any like low libido? And then be like, no, not really. I wouldn't take it as far as that. I would push further and just have it be approached as just like a singular issue for yourself. Mental health can obviously play a part in it, stress too, but it does seem like you're trying all the things that have worked for you before. And like, you seem incredibly self-aware. So I would think if like if there has been something that's, if whether you have gained some weight or you have lost some weight, or there are things that you're not feeling as sexy about, or that you got a really bad haircut that you don't love, like, or your skin's breaking out, or, what, any of those things that like contribute to how you feel about your outward appearance can like manifest itself in not wanting to be seen or touched in a way that like is really centered on like feeling not just like pretty or cute, but like sexy. So it doesn't, but like you seem self-aware of this to a point where I think that you would know if it's something like that, but it could be a hormonal shift and change. And like, that's something that like, full transparency, part of the reason why that like I'm with like my thyroid stuff, I'm like, I think that this is another part of it for me, because as someone with ADHD, I don't think about sex. I don't think about anything until it is right in front of me or someone suggests it or brings it up. It's the same reason why like I don't have object permanence. I don't remember people exist until they text me. And I used to struggle with like feeling like a bad person because I don't really miss people. And like even Mats, who I love so much, he will like, call me on his way home from work and he's like, oh my God, I missed you. And like, as soon as he says that, I go, oh yeah, I totally miss you too. But like, I didn't think that throughout the day unless I like saw something I wanted to send him. I was like, oh, like but it's just not how my brain works. But like, even I like with like my health stuff, I've noticed, I'm like, this is like, I do feel like this is another shift. And this is one that I'm adding onto the list of things to talk to with my doctor, being like, I feel like I'm thinking about it less than I normally have been or would. And like my ADHD does feel worse, but I'm assuming that that's from something else or whatever. So like, I think like this is definitely a thing to discuss health-wise with your doctor, because something has, in the words of Alphaba, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. We'd copyright and also really hard to say.
I know. I can't sing at all.
So I think that like you need to go with your gut in the fact that like something has shifted and you've tried everything. And I am a big believer in just laying it out there on the table for doctors, not just saying like, sometimes there's a way to kind of like dance around the subject to get them, because sometimes doctors are really egotistical, to get them to come to the conclusion that like you're at. And so without them being like, well, you're pushing something or whatever. But I think of being like, hey, this is where I'm at. I've tried this, and this. This isn't working. And this is how I got my beta blockers. It's like the first appointment, he was like, okay, try salty foods, drink a lot more water, and, do some like light walking and that stuff, but make sure you wear compression socks and you should be good. And I was like, well, yeah, I've been kind of trying that. And I didn't like push it harder because I literally had been doing all of those things and I still felt the fucking same.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have said that in the moment and I didn't. And like, I then was like, wow, this doctor fucking sucks. And like, yes, you know, it should have been more of a, hey, you've been dealing with this for well over a year at this point. I'm going to assume you've tried X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to present this like brand new information. But then when I finally was like, hey, by the way, I've been doing all of those things, still doing it, did it before we had that appointment, I've been doing it, nothing has changed. And in the way that I made it so cut and dry and so like knowing my own body, the next question he asked is like, okay, so would you say that your POTS is getting in the way of you being able to shower every day? And I was like, oh my God, sir. Yeah, we're on totally different pages. I can't even shower once every 3 days. Like I will change my schedule about leaving the house because I will not leave the house if I have not showered, but I won't be able to function for like 2 days. And he was like, oh, wow. And I realized I'm like, oh my God, we're speaking a different language. I thought I was conveying this in a way because I'm used to, again, doctors with egos and I don't want to come on too strong or whatever that is. But like, I was trusting a professional without giving them enough information to use their professional opinion and recommendations. So I do think that like being really forthcoming and like straightforward and saying, hey, I want, you know, blood tests and like even like looking up like what blood test should I be getting if I'm having low libido? What is that there? And then also, you know, figuring out like, is this manifesting in just are you not feeling, you know, horny, sexy, turned on in a mental sense? Or is that also manifesting in a physical sense when you're by yourself? I would also recommend maybe if you feel more comfortable going to your gynecologist. And then if it is manifesting in a physical way, not just saying like, okay, I'm having really low libido and also like vaginal dryness. Like if there's those physical symptoms too.
That's actually what I was going to get into. Talking, like having conversations with your medical professionals about both physical and mental, like how you're feeling mentally. And that can be with your gynecologist or even your general doctor, but also talking to like a therapist about that. And then talking to your therapist about how to talk to your partner about that. Like that can be extremely helpful. But then talking about the physical things with your doctor too. And then also, I'm sure there has to be like other people that are going through the same thing as you and like finding a support group on Reddit or online. And there are probably things that have worked for specific people. And they're like, here's a checklist of everything that I said to my doctor. And I didn't leave that patient room until they answered or looked after or checked out everything that happened to me. So I suggest doing that too.
Yeah, that's a great call. Cause like I know the first time, and I still need to schedule my secondary labs. I was trying to do that today, but I was like, this is before Christmas. I was annoyed when I get work emails. I'm not going to email my doctors. But like, I went into my doctor and I was like, hey, I have a family history of this. And I also have a pretty extensive knowledge of both hyper and hypothyroid runs in both my family. And so I think I really think I'm having thyroid. This is all of the symptoms that I'm having. And he was like, totally. And he ran it and he tested one thing when a full thyroid panel is like much more than that. And I had posted on my Instagram story being like, if you have all of the symptoms of hypothyroid, as well as your doctor saying you have all the symptoms of that, but like your tests are coming back fine, what else have you gotten tested or what else could it have been? Because I asked him if I could get additional labs. He was like, yeah, what do you, I mean, we could run some iron ones or vitamin B, like what else would you want it to do? And the way that I literally had like a list of like 50 things that people were like, hey, why don't you, like, I would test this, I would test this, I test this. Like, we're not saying get medical diagnostic advice online, but like, and there are people who aren't from America who are saying like, well, why don't you just like, your doctor will just run everything you need. And I go, no, you have to request,
you have to ask for it,
what it is that you're looking for. And that there are people who are in my messages who like, they had gone through this is what they got tested. There were other people who like were doctors themselves or work in that aspect of it, of being like, here's what I pull for my patients. Here's what I would do. These are different ones like X, Y, and Z. And like, that is something that is like, that is not detrimental information because you can't, it's not medical information saying take ivermectin. It's not medical information saying you have a Tide Pod. Like it is drink bleach, whatever that is. Like it is something that you do need a doctor's approval in order to follow through with this, but you are then having more information. And I do think that if you are also prone to medical and health anxiety, it is a lot better in that way to seek out specific, to start in places that, like Melissa said, like support group stuff versus WebMD. What are medically things that could be wrong with me that cause low libido? But also if you don't have like medical anxiety and like looking up like health conditions associated with this, like that can be helpful. Just to see like, okay, what tests should I run? What other things should I check into? But you are only 20, you're only 23. And
the thing is, they're just not going to believe you. And I'm not like trying to be harsh, but a lot of doctors just won't believe you because of your age.
And the 6 to 9 months part, this is quite rapid. Like this isn't over the course of like a year and a half and you've like suddenly finally noticed this. This is rapid. And like health-wise with me, same thing. I remember like thought something was all in my head and I saw a video of myself and I said, yeah, underneath my armpits where your lymph nodes are look more swollen. My neck looks more swollen. Like I was able to just pinpoint that. And it was like a very quick, rapid decline in how I felt. And like those things, unfortunately, tend to be reserved for women being very hyper aware of their bodies. So men they usually don't go to the doctors frequently. And unless they have a stomach ache and they go to the ER or whatever that is. And so when women are like, hey, I have been feeling like this for this amount of time. I tracked this and this and this. A lot of the time doctors will be like, no, you're fine. Just like wait it out. And it's like, by the time a woman is going to the doctor, they have already waited it out. They've already figured this. They've been thinking about they've tried all of the home remedies. They've tried X, Y, and Z and all of that. So I also am not above, fudging it for them to take you seriously in the sense of this is really taking a toll on my relationship, even though it might not be, or we are trying to have a kid. I will say I might refrain from that because they might just say, well, having sex so often and like tying this to be the goal of a pregnancy can make sex less fun. So I wouldn't bring up pregnancy in this because I think they'll make that a psychological reason for this. This to me is a medical issue. And that, like Melissa said, can be like MD, doctor, blood drawn, hospital, or could be like therapist. But this is like a phone the support.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Hey, Melissa and Meghan, I need advice on how to tell my narcissistic dad that I've booked a family holiday without him. You also don't have to. He's 24, she, her. Oh, live at home with my parents. There we go. My dad is controlling and refuses to take responsibility for anything, while my mom has been the primary caregiver for my sister, 17, she, her, and I, while working full-time as well. My dad believes we all, quote unquote, owe him things like cooking. See, this is where I say poison. Cleaning and being close since he earns the most money. He resents that we are close with my mom's side of the family and doesn't let them visit. I don't have a good relationship with him, but I've stayed at home to support my mom and sister. After a few explosive arguments, I've chosen to keep things civil to maintain peace while my mom figures out how to leave him. Recently, my dad booked men are so dramatic. Recently, my dad booked a one-way ticket abroad to, quote unquote, escape negativity and promised to return a better person. During his absence, my mom was diagnosed with a serious illness and underwent major surgery. I became her primary caregiver and canceled a planned holiday. Once she recovered, I rebooked the trip for my mom, sister, and I. I knew my dad would be upset since we usually all travel together, but after everything, I didn't feel he deserved to be part of it. My dad has been home for 2 months now, but hasn't questioned the hospital bills, hasn't checked in on us, and hasn't spoken to us since his return. The trip is in January, and while I don't regret booking it, I'm unsure how to tell him. My sister thinks he doesn't deserve an explanation, but I'm worried about making things worse, especially since my mom isn't ready to leave him yet. How should I approach this conversation with him? Any advice would be appreciated. P.S. I've been listening since 2019, and your advice and discussions have helped me navigate life so many times. Thank you.
If he's not talking to y'all, I'm just like, if he's not talking to y'all, when do you even have the opportunity to tell him?
This is where I get toxic, and it's like, well, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
So, like, and kind of what I said the last time, normalize grabbing your middle school stationery. Normalize leaving in the middle of the night. This time, don't even leave a note. Like, just go. Just leave and go. I think the only part that like I understand your hesitation is like you not wanting things to make things worse for your mom. Have you asked your mom what it will take her to leave?
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, if it is not like, saving money, if it's not like, oh, I'm waiting till I save X amount of money and like, diverting funds and doing all of that stuff. But if it is like her emotionally working up to that point and like, we're not even at the logistics aspect of the money and the leaving and where to live, all of those things. If we're not in like the fulfilling the steps of the plan that has already been established, we're just at the emotional part of like admitting that we want to be done and like start planning that. Then I think unfortunately a lot of the time it does have to get worse. Like for some people, like it does get worse before they're ready to leave and ready to be done. And you can't prevent that all the time. You can't always be there and you can't always prevent that from happening because he will move the goalposts. He will have different expectations and standards. Like you can do everything by his demands right now. And for a lot of narcissists, they get pissed at that. And so then they make new demands and new expectations. So it is just kind of a never ending cycle. And if you count on knowing that and like knowing him and like being able to predict these things and avoid the blow ups or whatever, that unfortunately only lasts for so long. So I do think that like there needs to be some self-preservation in there for both you and your mom, that like, making these choices and like separating her from him will be incredibly positive for her taking the next steps to leave. So I'm with your sister. He does not deserve an explanation. He never asked. It doesn't have to be like a blow up fight or like whatever. It can just be, there's like a term, and I'm not one to say things that like actually would upset me if people said them to me like on the internet, because I don't want to give other people that ammo. But like there was something that I was referred to for the vast majority of my life in sense of like, you don't have to, once you get to the point where you do not have to engage and you see how people respond to you being composed, not rash or whatever, it becomes like, oh, they get even more upset and more mad or whatever. And so I do think like favoring being completely neutral in your voice and your expression of like all of that just lets narcissists kind of dig their own grave. And that might be if you and your mom are like and sister are physically safe, then that's what you need to do to like self-preservation. Because it's never going to be a learning lesson. It's never going to click. It's never going to be a come to Jesus moment or whatever, because he's a narcissist. So you have to play the part that isn't just about avoiding him and his reactions, because he will react. He'll change it. You have to play the part to do things that will make you safe and happy. And sometimes that will piss him off. And that's kind of all it is.
Yeah, just do what you do, because it doesn't matter what you do. He's never going to be satisfied. He's never going to be happy. So like that shouldn't stop you or the rest of your family from living your life, because it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. You can be the most perfect person in his eyes and you're still not going to be good enough. So you need to continue living your life so that you can have a life.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if your mom is not ready to leave him, your sister is giving very much younger sibling who has a narcissist parent, where they're like, no, I'm out. Like as soon as I turn 18, like I am done. And at a certain point, you do have to put yourself first. And there is a sense of like, you can, be enabling someone to maintain staying in a relationship like this. And you then might lose your relationship with your sister because like she won't deal with that. So like, I think that it's so clear that you want to protect everybody and save everybody. It is a ship on fire. It is going down. You can, grab life jackets. You can preserve for as long as possible, but it is like an inevitable outcome. And the plan needs to be in place, because you will you can't do it forever. You'll burn out before that. And that's not fair to you or your relationships as an adult. And I promise your life only gets better. Your friends are better. Everything is better because your threshold for that behavior, you suddenly go, oh my God, no, my standards are higher because even if you don't think it lowers all of the standards for people in your life.
Yeah, agree.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Next one.
Hey, I'm an 28, she, her, first time calling in. The guy, 30, he, him, I started seeing in November, recently cut off communication out of nowhere. I knew it had to be family related because he's always been clear about his feelings towards me. His mom has cancer, needs a kidney transplant. He might have to be the donor, and has 2 other family members very ill. He's also lost both his bio dad when he was young and his stepdad who raised him to a heart attack last year. He's understandably really struggling and copes by isolating himself and shutting out the world. After a week of being blocked while I was trying to check in, I finally sent a text saying, I hope you respect me enough to have a conversation with me about what happened one day, and it went through. He told me what happened the day that caused him to shut me and everyone else in his life out, and said he realized he isn't in a headspace to start a relationship with me and doesn't want to hold me back finding someone that quote-unquote isn't a shit show right now. He came to talk in person because he didn't want it to be a goodbye and for me to think his feelings for me had changed, but that he wants to be able to start our relationship when he can equally invest time and energy into building a strong foundation. He said he doesn't want to lose me in his life and selfishly still wants to talk, go on dates, spend time together when he can, but that he understands that that isn't what I want and if I want to see other people while he gets a grip on things. My heart breaks because I want to give him the support I wish I had when I was going through losing both my parents. I lost my dad 5.5 years ago after a 6-year battle with cancer and lost my mom last October after a 6-month battle with brain cancer. I understand the pain he's in, and I have always assured him that he never needs to apologize for prioritizing his family's needs over time with me, and I don't want him to feel pressured to give me anything. He owns that he's been acting uncharacteristically, and he's going to therapy twice a week to try to work through things. He doesn't want to cut things off because he doesn't know if it'll be just days, weeks, or months before he feels like he's ready. We both know how special our connection is, and I know in my heart that he is truly a good man. I don't have a desire to meet other people right now, which could change, and I want to keep seeing him understanding his limited bandwidth. Am I wrong for closing myself off from other opportunities while supporting him and waiting for the day he's ready to pursue a serious relationship, knowing and accepting that there's a chance that day may never come? My friends have said it's basically a relationship anyways, and did bring up that if he really thinks we are right for each other, he might regret not having me get to meet his mom if something were to happen. I know it hasn't been long, but we do really feel a deep comfort and connection in each other. I just don't want to add more pressure to his life and also want him to have support rather than isolating himself and going through it alone. my heart would break to end things completely, and I feel like I'd be running away from the scary deep feelings. I know there's a chance I'll get hurt in this, but it's a chance I think I'm really willing to take and would love your advice. Thank you. Bye.
I want to preface by saying I don't think my advice will be what you want to hear. And like, if you don't take it, that's okay. And like, it's okay in like pretty much every context of the podcast. Like, you don't have to take our advice. It is like just our opinion, but I don't want you to like, I don't think that you are like silly or less than or whatever, but like, I do think it's important to hear varying opinions of this because we can't know everything. And like we are unbiased. You are biased. And sometimes having a bias is good. We don't know this person. So like, if you make the call of being like, I'm going to ignore everything you say, that's so okay. So I don't want you to like, not that people do, like, I don't want you to like take our advice over and regret and, you know, because you feel like you should, not that because you feel like that's right for you. So yeah, if you're not ready to hear, I'm not going to be mean, but I do want to be straightforward. I think that dating right now will ruin the relationship because you're quite freshly grieving as well. And I think that's why you are really wanting to be there for him because that is what you would have wanted. And like, I think you probably are envisioning having him in your life when you were going through that and how much that would have benefited you. And there is something like really heavy about grief as well as freshly shared grief. And you are in that grieving process. He's in an active grieving process and a proactive grieving process. So it's coming from all levels of that. And there are so many things you have in common, totally. But I think that you would be lowering your expectations for what you need, getting your needs met for his expense. And I don't think that's beneficial to him either. That can create a dynamic where one person feels like they're glass and that there can't be you can't argue. You can't, something hurts your feelings. You can't say it. It builds a lot of resentment from both sides because when someone is going through a really hard time, we tend to handle them with kid gloves and that can feel like patronizing, but also we kind of need that. But that's why, this sometimes like, I think he's right in that he's not at the place where he can be the person he wants to be. And then that's the other part of it is that like, and this one is like, I would think can be very hard that like, and this is not a knock on him. This is like human nature. When we are going through something really bad, it does not reflect wonderful on us. We're not we're not our best version of ourselves. We might take out our frustration on other people. We might stop doing the things that we love, our hobbies. We might not be getting dressed in the outfits that make us feel good. Like we might just feel like really shitty and have like a lot of self-loathing. And when we maintain a relationship with someone, or it can even think of something as simple as like a candle or a TV show you watch, that can remind us of a time of ourselves we really didn't like. And that can put not just pressure on the relationship to be like the sole form of escapism and the one good thing. And it puts a lot of pressure on you to have like a good day at work every day you talk. You always have good news to share. Nothing bad is ever happening. But at the same time, when the grief starts to be something that is a part of a regular day, it's not as fresh, and it is something like learning to cope for a longer period of time with it. You can then be a reminder of that time period and this person that they didn't like that they became, and that they didn't like that they treated you that way. And then it becomes that they can't look at you because it reminds them of how they treated you when they were at the worst point in their life. So there is without a doubt, like, and I'm someone who does self-isolate, like I so understand that. There is also an incredible maturity and power in knowing when you are not able to be the person you want to be in a relationship, and you can't do that at that point. And unfortunately, I don't think there is a way to kind of walk back what you've already done to just be a friend. I think that friendship can extend to, hey, I don't really have interest in seeing other people. And all this to say, I don't think that this is like donezo for both of you. I think without a doubt, I think that you have absolutely longevity in a relationship in, I don't know, a year from now or something like that. But I think when we push things when the timing is just not right, to the point where one person has already said that, if we push through that instinct, I think we're drinking spoiled milk at a certain point, as opposed to just leaving it on the shelf and waiting for the new stock to come in and then like circling back to that thing you always wanted. And so I think like extending the like, hey, I've been through that. I totally understand. Here are some books that have helped me or whatever. If you ever need anything, you can totally give me a call. I would say that like, boundaries wise, like I would love to revisit this at a certain point. And so I don't want us to date now. And I don't want us to have that kind of relationship right now. But like, if you call like 4 friends and they don't answer and you really need some help with something, yeah, don't forget my number. But like, I want us to keep that space there. So when we're both in that headspace that we're ready and excited to date, that's when we're engaging in this again.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me here is that you said that you wanted to be there for him in the way that you needed someone to be there for you, but people grieve and deal with grief or deal with different situations in different ways. And he doesn't want you to be there for the way that you needed somebody to be there for you. He wants you to be there in the way that he wants. And that's perfectly fine. But that's not the support that you need in your life. And right now, both of your needs cannot be met because you don't want the same things. So because right now he's in more of a vulnerable, fragile state, if you can't be in the type of relationship that he wants, then it's not going to be beneficial to you. And I think you're going to grow to resent him down the line and also get your feelings, your heart broken, because you're just going to grow more and more attached to him and try to do something and give something or expect something that he's not able to give and that you're not able to give. So if you don't change your expectations, then this is never going to be the relationship that is going to be beneficial to the both of you. So right now, I think he just wants a casual friend. Like he does care about you a lot, but he doesn't have enough care to give to everyone right now. So if you do want to be with him in the future, then I think that you need to take a step back and encourage him to seek companionship in other ways.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like, stress to him, like, I'm not interested in dating other people. And like, I think that like, we should revisit this in like a year and like, or 6 months or whatever that is. And I think if he also keeps saying, well, you're going to find somebody else, to me, that is, and it's not his fault necessarily. That is my life is a shit show talking. I'm unlovable talking. Like, it's very much like, you're going to find someone who's so much better than me, who's going to be so great. And like, you're going to forget all about me. And that's like not how people who are ready to date and feeling confident in themselves and have traits and have things that they're willing to give and they're looking for in a relationship, that is very much like, and I don't want to say that's like victim mentality, because like right now, that's what he's at. He is getting the shit out of like every which way. Like he's dealing with so much. And like, it is that statement and saying like, you're going to find someone else, or like, I'm the worst. Like you need someone who's better than me or whatever. Those are all very natural feelings to feel when your life is like going to fucking shit and your mental health is in the gutter. Like that is a normal feeling, but it is not your responsibility to change that, because it's not reality. It's like, it's the mindset of where he's in, and it's a manifestation of how he's feeling about his life right now. And you cannot prove him that you're not like that. You can't change his mind like that, because it's not based in reality. It's based on how he is, what his life circumstance right now and how he's dealing with that. And so I do think like if you do everything in your power to do exactly be who he needs to be, you are going to become a shell of a human, and you're going to be like a stuffed animal. You're not going to be it's not going to be an actual real relationship. And like, even though your friends are saying that, like it's not, because you're not going to be allowed to have a bad day. You're not going to be allowed to have like a shitty day at work. Like, you're going to have to bring that joy there and all the time. And I think, like, if it's truly like you have this connection, I'm like a big believer in that there's quite literally nothing going to stop that from it happening other than yourselves. Like, that's the only way that it gets in the way, is if you push it when it's not right. Like, two people will always come back together if you are doing what is like honest for yourself, what is true for you, and what is healthy for you. And if you do those things, you'll come back together. There is no time limit on that. But if you kind of push through, even knowing it is inopportune timing, I think you can blow something up that would have been really great, because you can both see each other's potential, but you're just not at that point. So, and like we've talked about this, the amount of people who like weren't even like friends in high school, or were kind of friends in high school, who then like didn't speak for years and then get married. Like, the people I had crushes on in middle school who I didn't talk to for years, hooked up with when I was an adult, like all of those things. And like, I even had like a guy that I dated when we were really young. And when we were like our 20, when we were way older, we both talked about the fact that we were like, I think if we did not date when we were like literally like 11, I think we probably would, like, if we met in college, we'd have dated for years. We would have dated in high school for a long period of time, but like, it was the wrong timing of it. So I think, like, I don't think you're crazy or you're wrong or dramatic for sensing a connection with someone, but I don't think that connection means that the connection's not really strong if it has to be now or never.
Agree. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. The last episode of the podcast as a whole.
Goodbye forever.
In 2024. I am literally still going through right now, adding people. I've done hundreds at this point. And
we're not as irrelevant as I thought.
No. And the thing is that it's also not in order by when these come through. There's some that are as little as 2 weeks ago, and some at the most is 138 weeks ago. So I'm trying to add everybody as fast as I can, because I'm hoping it doesn't go away. It doesn't look like it might be going away. There are a lot of people that wrote in with updates, a lot of people that wrote in asking for advice, a lot of people asking for, but am I wrong stuff? And I truly want to apologize to you. We did not see that.
No, and that's even more than we thought. We knew we were having problems with it. But that's even more than
I've literally been doing this for an hour and 7 minutes right now.
Yeah.
And I'm
for anybody who's on the video, this is all I ever see. 0 message requests, no message requests, 0 hidden requests, absolutely nothing. But then we search people's names because we ask you to email us and tell us if you've written in or responded to our DMs, and we haven't ever responded or reshared or whatever. And then we search your name and we click messages, and the messages are there. And we have never been able to see them.
So we'll probably write something and put it on our story too, because there might be people that were listening and thought that we didn't like them, or they said something and we offended them in some way. And I just want, if you know somebody that listens, please let them know that if they ever wrote in or anything and we never said anything or read their responses on the show, then we're truly sorry. Like, there's so many people that sent us "Don't blame me's" and "But am I wrong?" There's so many.
And why do I have the porn bots? Like, this is
really infuriating.
This is such a shitty fucking flawed system. And also, why can you see it on you? We're on the same account.
Yeah.
And I can't see it.
Yep.
And also, I think you lost the DMs before I did.
Because I was like, where'd they go? Because you could still see them. And then it got to the point where
they went away from me too.
Them. Yep.
And they're saying we have to ban TikTok because the algorithm's too good.
There's so many updates in here.
Fuck.
All right. Well, I don't want to end this on a bad note since this is our last episode of the year.
Do you want me to find a positive story?
Sure. Or I can just ask you, what are you looking forward to in the new year? I know that the state of our country will be a mess, but is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Great question. I unfortunately have not thought about that because of the state of our country. I won't lie, I am looking forward to CEOs being afraid. I'm looking forward
They
to the
already
class
are.
consciousness that is happening. Oh, you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited for the fact that Kieran Culkin, and I always want to call him Domingo Coleman, but it's Coleman Domingo. That I think we are about to witness a bromance of the ages.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get movies. And I don't mean singular movie. I think we might get multiple movies.
They're going to be the new Kevin Hart and Dwayne
That's
Johnson.
what I was leading up to. I was like, because by the way, The Rock has been eerily quiet, and he should have been promoting this Christmas movie. And no one's ever even heard of this Christmas movie.
Well, probably because he was talking about Trump.
Well, that was the thing, that he was so in front of the press, and then everyone's like, he's so media trained. And we got just a certain point where they let him talk a little too long, and now he's not talking at all. So I am deeply looking forward to that. And I also am looking forward to, I think this is going to be, Melissa? I think this is going to be a year of realizing things. I think everybody's going to realize things, much like Kylie Jenner said. It's a year of realizing. I don't remember what year she said that was. If it was 2016, that'd feel incredibly poetic. But I do think that this will be a year of realizing, because I did also see a video from the Daily Mail of a flat earther who traveled all the way to Antarctica and then said, you know what, guys? I was wrong. The Earth is in fact round.
It was a whole group of people.
And you know what I say to that? I love that. I love that. Normalize changing your mind about things. And you know what? You took a little vacation and you learned something. And I think that there's going to be a lot of learning and realizing. And when we accept that as a part of our journey and our growth, we all benefit from that. And you know what? In the spirit of learning and growing, I would like to, I'm not going to fully retract everything I've ever said, but I am going to say, I understand you a little bit more now. And that is to the Salamanders. So Timmy Tim, we know, has never been he's never been my type. And people were posing the question, who would you rather date, Timothy Chalamet or Paul Mescal? And I was, I live in a bubble. And so finding out that it was a no-brainer for a lot of people, and it wasn't the same no-brainer that I had, I was a little surprised. And then he showed up on whatever, ESPN in his pink puffer jacket, spitting football facts. And this is how I know that I am merely just a heterosexual woman, that I said, it's kind of hot. Like, it is kind of hot. And then he did an interview with Brittany Broski where he got on his knees for her and was calling her like my sire, and like was just like saying he has so much charisma that I was like, I feared this man could have transmitted me something if I was at NYU too.
Megan, now I've literally told you that I've been in the same room with him, and like, I get it. I understand why other girls would be
what
into
room were
him.
you in?
That movie that he did where he was on drugs. That
a Marin County classic story.
Yeah, it's about your place, A Beautiful Boy, based on a true story. So he was there, and what's his nuts? Steve Carell. And then who it was like actually based off of, they were there too. And I was in the front row. My friend Ashley, what's up? She sometimes listens. And he was just very charismatic and like really controlled the room. And I thought that I was like, yeah, he seems like a nice boy. So like, I get it. But I will say with this little mustache he has, I think he looks the best that he's looked ever. I don't know. I generally hate little mustaches, but I like his.
I think his is working for him. And I will say that like the fact that the mustache was also aligned with, I forget when it was, because people were being fucking crazy. He gained a little bit of much needed weight. And he doesn't seem like he still has that on him right now. And like from the way he talks, he's like, I need to gain weight. I know this. I'm working on that. But like when he gained that like 10 pounds, I was like, he was trending on Twitter and I was like, oh my gosh, he's okay, guys. I'm seeing it. Like he's looking really good. And all the replies were like, oh my God, I don't like him anymore. And I'm like, okay, freaks. Like this is fucking weird. I don't know why you think that men are also immune to eating disorders and therefore idolizing their incredibly thin physiques that they want to gain weight that you don't want them to. Like it's weird. It's very fucking weird. But he is looking, as he says in this, anemic as ever. But charisma oozes out of this boy's body. And I had never had the opportunity to see that because when he does like any of we did like Lady Bird interviews and stuff. I didn't watch a ton of that press junket, but like Little Women, it's, Florence Pugh, Saoirse Ronan, Laura Dern, they're all together. And and Greta Gerwig, he says maybe 3 words. He doesn't really speak. He just kind of like bopping, smiling, and he's just vibing in the corner. And so like, I didn't hear, he seemed like a man of few words. Like there was not much riz or charisma to speak of. And I was like, all of these women who I love and have so much charisma and so they're so fun. They're wonderful on all these late night shows. They seem to love you and you just seem there. And so now I know, I go, oh, he was pulling a Ryan Gosling and he said, I'm gonna step aside. This is called Little Women. It's not called Little Man. Mm-hmm. I've been Beautiful Boy. Mm-hmm. This movie is Little Women. It's not about me. So I will never in my life apologize to Club Chalamet. If you ever see a public apology to Club Chalamet, know that I am in imminent physical danger and I only know the podcast phone number. So please, someone reach out to Melissa or to Motts and get me help because that is a cry for fucking help. If I ever say, hey, as a society, we need to stand by Club Chalamet. Never. But Chalamanders on the ground, I get it.
All right. I'm looking forward to just having a good time. I'm just living day by day. I'm not trying to do anything extra. I have the 5 things that I want to write next year. Like I know what the scripts are. I'm going to get all of them done. I will be participating more on my sport.
She's a fucking athlete, y'all.
So that's my concentration. I won't be getting too much into like I wanted to really play tennis, but I have to preserve my legs. No, I'm being like, I can't get injured playing tennis.
No, I know. I just watched a video of Tara talking about how her fucking husband made her go on a bike ride right before her race. And she was like, I have to preserve my legs.
Yeah.
The rowers usually just like, they scoot on their butts all day until they have to do it. Yeah.
So I won't be pursuing tennis. I also won't be horseback riding because those sports are a little dangerous. And I just don't want to mess up my legs for running.
And I support you in all of your athletic endeavors. And I also specifically support your athletic endeavors that could get us as close as humanly possible to the Olympics. Mm-hmm. So don't diversify your athletic portfolio at this point. Like we're all in 100%.
Yeah, that's me. All right. So,
hey, we'll see you next year.
Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate most of you. And again, apologies to the people that we've never said anything to because we like to be interactive in our messages.
Yes, we really do. And like, I know that we have so many strong opinions. I can so see how people might have thought like you might have taken it personally. And like, I'm so happy that the people who messaged who were like, hey, you might have blocked, like you might not have seen my messages. But I feel so fucking bad for the people who didn't message because they were like, no, there probably was no.
Or they just stopped listening and they're not even hearing this.
Yeah, because they're like, no one has ever responded or engaged. Like, that's just, that's like so not how we love to do it. We like to respond. And I feel the same way on my personal and it's still happening. So
I'm still going through. There's still so many. Like, just look at this. Like they're still loading.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah. So, all right.
Okay.
Buy our merch.
Bye. Oh yeah, buy it.
This one's really cute. They're all really cute, actually. All right. Bye.
Bye. This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Hey, are you interested in horror, but you don't have time to watch the movies? Check out Bloody Good Horror. We're keeping up with what's new, what's hot, we're covering the trends, and we're doing it from a place of love, but we're doing it with a critical eye.
We've seen it all, and it gives us a perspective that helps us when covering the genre.
We're also here for the horror curious, those who might not have the time to get to the theater every week, or if you're just too chicken to watch the blood fly.
Bloody Good Horror comes out every Friday, wherever you get podcasts, and we hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the co-hosts of the Christmas. Let me try that again. Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be massively merry, gigantically jolly, fantastically festive, as some people might say, Eric. We are all about alliterations, and we are all about Christmas spirit. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go. It should be like, let's go, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.